So you've been promoted as a manager. Congratulations, very well done to you. And now you must be wondering, what is someone like me with almost 10 years experience in management would advise you so you can set yourself for success? In other words, what is the older version of me now would advise the younger version of me so that I could have started my career maybe a little bit better? So this is what we talk about in this video. Let's go. But first, if you're new here, welcome to Management Secret. And on this channel, I'm sharing my 10 years experience in management. And I want to help managers and new managers being successful in their leadership, and also for them to learn from my past mistakes. When I started my career, it was difficult for me to get practical example, real life example of what it is to be a manager on the ground. All I found were just theories or books, things that mostly didn't work on the ground. And on this channel, I want to share with you my story. I want to share with you things that didn't work for me and worked for me. I want to share with you my struggles, my challenges, so that you can avoid them. You don't have to make the same mistakes. And also, I'm sharing with you my success so you can get inspired by it. So if that's something that resonates with you, you want to subscribe to this channel right now, and most of all, activate the notification button so you won't miss any of the video I leave here on a weekly basis for you. So you're a new manager and you want to know what it is like to be a manager. You want to have some advice from people that have been there before, people that have 5 years experience, 10 years experience, and you want to get some advice so that can help you get your career to a very good start. Well, today I have for you 7 tips that will help you know exactly how to behave and how to take things when you're a manager. The first tip I have for you is to dress like a manager. Yeah, when it comes to management, the way you look is very important. It's not only going to let other people know who the manager is, and that might be from customers, that might be also amongst employees, because they need to know from very first view who's the manager. That's very important. But secondly, it's important because if you dress like a manager, if you dress well, you are smart enough, that is going to help you convey a certain confidence. I've heard that before. Don't worry about the way you dress. When it comes to management, trust me, the way you dress is very important. Unless you are, let's say, the owner of a company, so you can dress the way you want, still professional. But when it comes to management, the way you dress is going to impact greatly on the respect people have of you. And if you're dealing with customers, the way you dress as a manager is also going to help you, because I've been there myself. I've been in a situation where I was dressed as a manager and straight away they respect you. And I've seen other occasions where the managers were not actually dressed like managers, and when the customers saw them, they were like, oh, is this person the manager? So you see there, you've been judged for the very first impression. So when it comes to management, dressing the part is very, very important. Obviously, you need to adapt it to the environment you're working in. If you work in a factory, obviously the way you dress is going to be different. If you work in a financial sector like I was working before, the way you dress is also, there's a way to dress there as well. So the way you dress is very important. But by the way you're dressing, we need to know that you are the manager, you are the leader, you are the person in charge. So dress the part, dress like a manager so that you can get respect from your client, your team, and also from your manager. The second tip I have for you when it comes to management, if you're a new manager, do not underestimate communication. Communication is key. You are new in your role and you want to make sure your team knows what you're all about. Your team knows your objectives. Your team knows what you want to get done. You need to make sure your message is clear and that everyone understands what you're saying. And to avoid miscommunication, you need to make sure you constantly communicate with your team. If you said something today, you want to repeat it the next day, and so on and so forth, until everyone gets it. The mistake that young managers or new managers do is that they communicate once and they're expecting the team members to understand what they're saying. You know, sometimes we say something, but the way we say it in a way that we understand it, but not particularly on the way that your team members will understand. And that's the reason why it's very important to repeat yourself, paraphrase yourself, so that If you say something in a certain way and say in a different way another time, that might maybe help someone understand it better. But you need to make sure you're constantly communicating. You need to be open to feedback, especially when you're new, because you're new in a role. There might be things and there will be things you're not aware of. And the best way for you to learn quickly and to move quickly and to be more efficient quickly is to be open to feedback, because your team will tell you how they feel, and based on how they feel, you can adjust the way you communicate, you can adjust the way you do things, and that's only to make you better. Remember, and I heard that before, feedback is like food to you. Feedback is what is going to help you grow faster. You also want to make sure you set the expectations. That is to say that your team needs to know what you want them to do. And that is a very clear conversation to have. You need to have a conversation, maybe first in a group. So a group meeting when you are sharing your vision, your objectives, and everything that you need to do with the whole team entirely. And then what you want to do as well is to sit down with each individual and explain them what is that you want them to do and what you expect from them. Secondly, you also need to ask your team what is that they're expecting from you, because this is a two-way communication. First, you need to communicate to your team what you're expecting from them, but also you need to know what they're expecting from you. And this is where you're going to have this connection with your team. You need to be approachable and available as well. I've seen new managers, once they start a new role, they're like, okay, now I'm a manager, don't talk to me, or they barely talk to their teams. You need to have that connection. You need to be on the ground as well. You need to know what's going on the ground. And not being available is not going to help you. It's only going to get distance between you and your team. And guess what? The larger the distance is, the more you lose control over your team, and the more likely you are to fail in your leadership. Because leadership is all about also having that connection with your team. You need to be approachable. You need to let your team know that they can share with you whatever they think will help the group. They shouldn't be scared to come and talk to you about their problems, their struggle, their challenges at work. Because I've seen managers as well whereby their employees are scared to come and talk to them. This is crazy. You should be approachable. You should be that person that have an open door policy. Only close the door when you have a meeting or when you don't want to be disturbed. But having an open door policy helps a lot, and that's what helped me a lot. I remember back in the day when I was sent to Spain to work with a team that I didn't know. And this is what helped me first improve my Spanish, because I didn't know any word of Spanish, and that helped me have a quicker connection with my team, because anytime they needed something, they would come to me. And I knew in the beginning, it might sound like you're wasting your time, and I get it, I understand it. This is time well invested. This is when you want to create the best connection with your team. That's the best time to create that connection. So make yourself approachable, available to your team, and you will see, once you have that connection with them, then later on, if you are a little less available, they will still have the feeling that you're still there for them. The next advice I have for you is to avoid making loads of changes. And yeah, this is the trick that we fall in, especially when you're a new manager. You want to change everything at once. And for my story, this happened to me as well when I started my role as a manager, because I was promoted internally. I knew what the team wanted me to do. I knew where were the things that we're not happy with as team members. Once I got my role as a manager, I just wanted to change everything. And guess what? They wanted changes. They wanted things to be different. And I was so pumped up when I got the role. I was like, yeah, this is what we talked about. I'm going to change this and that and that and that and that. And next thing I know, when I started to change things, they were resistant and I didn't understand. And if there's something I want to advise you for your new role, is that you need to make changes very slowly. Because whether people want changes or not, whether people want things to be different, then people are resistant to change in general. They wish they had it, but you need to take it slowly, if I may say it this way. Take it slowly. Make one change at a time. But most importantly, the other side of it is, and that's what people say not to do, but I'm against that, is your first change needs to be done quickly because you've been promoted as a manager and you need to make quick impact. So you need to understand what is the change that people so desperately want. And that's going to make you win very good point from a very beginning, winning big point. Because you're manager now, you're in charge, and you made one of the big change that the team was expecting. But that's one change at a time. Make that change very quickly so people know that now you are in charge, now you're the leader, now you're the person they need to follow, the person that will help them grow. And for the next change, take your time, step by step. Do not make all changes all at once, because what's going to happen is resistance. And once you have resistance, your leadership is going to be a struggle, a big challenge. The next advice I have for you is to be clear on the objectives that you have. You need to have that meeting with your line manager. You need to ask your boss for a meeting so that you can be clear on the things that are expected from you. Because the same way you need to tell your team what you're expecting from them, the same way you need to know also what your boss is expecting from you. Because as a manager, you're kind of in the middle. You have the team, there's you, and there's your manager or the company, okay? So you need to know in all directions what are the expectations, and you need to be clear about it. If you're not sure, make sure you ask questions. An extra tip I will give you is that you also need to know what is that you can do to make your manager's life easier. You are going to win what we call brownie points. This is where you're going to create also a connection between you and your manager. You want to help them as well. And by helping them, they will also help you when it comes to the next promotion. They will also help you in your development. So before you expect anything from your manager, you need to think about what you can give your manager that will make them or him or her give you something back and help you progress quite quickly. That was an extra tip I have for you. You want to stay until the end of this video because the last tip is the most important. So stay with me, we are nearly there. Now, number 5, what is that I would advise you to do as a new manager? You need to network in a company. Yes, networking is very important within your company. You need to know different heads of department. That's going to help you in the future. You want to have a good PR, and this is going to be done by networking. You especially need to know the decision makers. Who are the ones that are making decisions in the company? Who are the people that you think can help you get the next promotion? Even though you just started, you want to get to know these people. Maybe in a year or two, once you are established in your role, you will know them very well, so they can help you for the next promotion. Networking in a company is very important. This is what makes people go faster. And when it comes to me, I didn't know that. Maybe that's the same for you. I was this shy person, right? I didn't really want to talk to someone here and there because I was shy. I was in my corner. I was the manager, obviously, but I wouldn't go to other department and have a chat or get to know them. I was just doing my job, and that was it. And later on in my career, I noticed that networking in a company was helping big time. I was aware of the next promotion. I was aware of the next move in a company. I was aware of things that my other colleagues didn't know about, and that gave me the edge over the other people. Number 6 is you need to adapt to the management culture. Yes, being an employee is one thing. Being a manager is another. And your employee environment is different to the managerial environment. The culture that you had with your colleagues as employees is going to be different, and you need to adapt to it. I've seen people being manager and they still had that employee mentality, that employee kind of culture. They didn't adapt to the new managerial culture, and guess what? They failed. They either didn't grow in a company or they just quit because they could not just bear the environment. So when you become a manager, you need to remember that now you are part of the managerial team. You are part of the management team, and the management team has a culture that you belong to now. So you need to get into it. You need to adapt. It's like you're going to a new country you don't know. You need to adapt to the cultures. You need to adapt to the way they think, the way they do things. Maybe they go out to socialize. You need to be part of it as well, because this is how you're going to get to know your new team better. And the last advice I can give you, and I can't believe I'm going to tell you that, but you need to know this. And this is something I wish I told myself in the beginning as well. Do not take yourself too seriously. Do not take yourself too seriously. You are new in your role. You are going to make mistakes, okay? Based on the video you watch with me, you're going to avoid certain mistakes. So it's going to get you quicker compared to me, for instance, or compared to other managers that are not watching my videos, my channel, right? But you are going to make your own mistakes as well. So once you make those mistakes, just learn from it and just move on. And the way to move on is not to take yourself seriously. If you don't take yourself seriously, you will know that, oh, I made a mistake. Okay, I'm moving on next and next and next. Those ones that are very hard on themselves, those ones that is very difficult for them to move on from making a mistake, are those ones that barely progress. Show your personality as well, because this is what is going to make you different from the others. Your personality, the person you are, is what is going to create with your team members, with your colleagues, the connection. So be yourself, be the person you are, bring in your own personality. So these are the 7 tips I have for you, you new manager, and this is what the older me will advise the younger me, okay? I hope you like this advice. I hope that this will help you, and let me know in the comment, which tip do you think resounded more to you? Which tip you think you can implement and you think was most important for you? I want to know in the comment. Just let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, just make sure you subscribe, because I'm leaving videos on a weekly basis here for you, for your development. I'm talking about my experience, things that can help you and get quicker to success when it comes to your management. I'll see you in the next video.